Hallo, guten Abend, Deutsch, Studentin. Hier Teil 3 für dieses Thema. Imperfekt, aber diesmal mit wann, als und wenn. Greetings, German students, 1102 summer 2019 LSU. This video is the third video in the sequence this week, which is focused primarily on the imperfect. Okay, video 1 was a brief review of haben and sein and the Modalverben. Video 2 was a quick crash course of the regular, irregular, and mixed verbs. Now we're going to look at 3 different ways to say when, okay? And this is a very, very important theme and one that's easily confused, so hopefully my examples will help break it down. And there's even a practice slide here afterwards. So wann, when we want to use wann to mean when, primarily it's used as a question word, or to ask direct or indirect questions, or even used in a direct or indirect response. And I'll show you some examples of what I mean by that. Zum Beispiel, wann kommst du nach Hause? Okay, it's asking for a specific time. Okay, or even this could be a roundabout time, but it's looking for a time in the response. Wann gehen wir Skifahren? Okay, again, asking for a time. It could be a time of day, it could be a day of the week, etc. But the question is when, regarding time. Gut. Hier ist eine indirekte Frage. Wissen Sie, wann das Spiel beginnt? Wissen Sie, wann das Spiel beginnt? Und das ist ein Nebensatz. Okay, so here we have a two-clause sentence. Wissen Sie, and then we separate that with a comma, and then we begin the question, wann das Spiel beginnt. But you can see what happens. It creates a subordinate clause here, sending the verb to the end of that. Kind of similar effect to when we use wenn, weil, sobald, etc. The verb gets placed at the end. Gut. And that is, by the way, an indirect question. Also, als, we will use als when referring to a past event, whether it's a single event or a block of time. Single event being the party we had last Saturday, block of time being the year I spent in Austria. Okay, block of time. Gut, als ich nach Hause kam, gab es eine Party. Als ich nach Hause kam, gab es eine Party. So to the English ear, this sounds a little bit odd because als just doesn't fit with when, aber so ist es, ja. Als ich in Wien war, lernte ich deine Mutter kennen. So here's a good example. First one, als ich nach Hause kam, gab es eine Party, single event. Als ich in Wien war, now we're looking at a block of time, lernte ich deine Mutter kennen. And not only is it using als as a block of time, but it's breaking it down with a separable prefix verb. Kennen, lernen acts as a separable prefix verb to be introduced, to meet, right, to become acquainted with. Lernte ich deine Mutter kennen. Gut. Wenn, okay, refers to something in the present, future, or repeated events of the past, like, or any time, really. And that's the key. It is repeated events. So this is usually going to be signaled by a time element of some sort. Every day, Sundays, every summer, every other day, every June, something like that. There's going to be a trigger there, a cue that alerts you that you have to use wenn in that scenario, even though sometimes you may want to use something else because maybe something else makes it seem like als or wann would make more sense, but that time, that specific time phrase is your clue there. Wenn ich Geburtstag habe, lade ich viele Freunde ein. So here's actually a present tense. You have a birthday every year. There's your repeated event. Wenn wir jede Woche Stammtisch hatten, war es immer gemütlich. Jede Woche. Okay, wenn. Also, hier, das ist ein kleines Spiel für Sie. So bitte nehmen Sie einen Moment Und was sind die Antworten? So you're looking for key clues. Are you looking for a single event in the past, a block of time? Are you looking for a repeated event that's triggered by a time word? Okay, are you asking a question, whether it's a direct question, an indirect question, or is it a indirect response, something like that? Okay, so schauen wir auf Nummer eins. So it's when wir Kinder waren, spielten wir viele Brettspiele. Ja, wir spielten immer Monopoly und ja, was noch? Scrabble. Als wir Kinder waren. When we were kids, when we were children. Yeah, that's a block of time. Okay. Markus sonntags zu seiner Omas ging, erzählte sie ihm immer gute Geschichten. Gut. Sonntags. Sundays. One day of the week, but it's referring to every Sunday. Yeah. Wenn Markus sonntags zu seiner Omas ging, erzählte sie ihm immer gute Geschichten. Okay, so every time he went to his grandma's on Sundays, she always told him good stories. When Markus im 2012 in Salzburg lebte, besuchte er gern die Altstadt. Im 2012, that is a block of time. Und als is our word here. Gut. Here we have a question. Gut. Wann? Okay, and I will say this, it is in this case because I'm just showing you as the example, but you may sometimes use wenn or als in a question. Okay, so just because it's a question, don't automatically assume it's going to be wann. Okay, that's a good one to recall if you're stuck, but it isn't always going to be that. You have to look at other clues in the sentence. Jeden Sommer, for example. Unsere Großeltern zu Besuch kamen, gingen wir spazieren. Jeden Sommer, every summer, das ist wenn. Jeden Sommer, wenn unsere Großeltern zu Besuch kamen, gingen wir spazieren. Gut. We'd always go walking when our grandparents would come for a visit every summer, or every summer when our grandparents would come for a visit, we'd go walking. Wusste nicht, when das Spiel begann, und wusste nicht, es is an indirect, so it's going to be wann. Wusste nicht, wann das Spiel begann. Gut. Okay, so here are 6 examples of using als, wenn, or wann. Bitte, ich weiß, das ist schwierig ist manchmal, aber wenn Sie Fragen haben, bitte schreiben Sie mir eine E-Mail und ich freue mich auf das nächste Video. Bis dann und tschüss, auf Wiedersehen. Einen schönen Tag noch. Ciao.